Hey Nick,
Hey Jeremy, how you doing?
doing all right? How are you doing?
Doing pretty good.
What's up?
Not much, but just I guess you can kind of say a little bit disappointed for what we were for the our would be guests we were supposed to have on tonight. Um, I was really looking forward of having them on, and this probably would have been my first time. I would have kind of is like we said last night, could have been my first been my first time kind of doing the hosting tonight.
Yeah, I was actually quite looking forward to them. Hey Brad.
What's going on, Brad?
So, so tonight we're gonna wing it. Um,
Yeah, or maybe he will. And there's always the possibility that maybe he eventually will show up because I did send him the link. So it just all depends if he's able to if he sees it. So hopefully, but if not, yeah, we'll just have to make the best of it.
yeah, we will. We always do.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Um, so other than that, um, what have you been up to the last 24 hours?
Uh
Hey, Jockey.
oh,
Haven't
jockey.
seen you. Haven't seen you in a while.
So what did I think? Oh, I forgot to get back. I forgot to get back at Brad. He he had actually he sent me he and I talked last night. It was actually involving when we were talking about like the FLIR camera that I have. He was
Hmm.
okay, hang on a second.
Yep.
Yeah, Brad, I'm sorry I didn't get back sooner. I've been today's been an absolutely crazy day today. So
Hi, Jill.
oh, Jill, yep, from YouTube
From
instead of
YouTube.
yep, still on Facebook in Facebook jail.
Yeah, she's limited for about another hour.
Oh, so we'll see her on like 8 o'clock then.
Yeah.
Oh shoot, yeah. Brad was he and I were talking. He was gonna make he was gonna create an iPhone holder for me. Well, yeah, he just has to have the iPhone holder, and he's asking if I prefer landscape or portrait. Um, I'm not exactly sure what really the difference is between landscape or portrait.
Um, the one you'll be able to get, it would depend on how the picture is laid out on the sheet. If it's on one setting, you will get the entire image. If it's on another setting, you're taking the chance of it getting cropped somewhere. Because I
Oh,
found
okay.
that out when I was trying to print something out a couple weeks ago. I tried the two settings, and one of them I was able to get the full thing on the sheet to print out, whereas the other one it was cutting something off the top.
Okay. Yeah. See, even with Jill, same thing. She saw her last message with the cam holders too. Again, I have been all over the place. I haven't been able to respond to too many people today because to be completely honest, again, I also had a really rough day at work, and all
Did
I
you?
was just yeah, it was just let's just say I was the only person in my department for half of the shift, so that kind of sucked. Yeah,
Brad has migrated over to YouTube.
yeah. I love Jill's response.
Jill has always got stars in her eyes.
Yeah, she always does. but but yeah, uh, really honestly, other than that though, I've just going around like crazy too with getting these store. I was literally up. till about 4 o'clock in the morning last night, uploading all these news stories.
Wow.
So yeah, it really did take some time, and for the most part, again, it's not even really the stories I'm working on. It's just trying to find the right music.
That's commitment, folks.
Yeah.
He is committed to getting his project done.
I might even have it completed by tomorrow night because now I got 7 stories left. I already cut down, I already edited and cut down 4 of the stories. So um, I was originally going to try to do this earlier before coming on to the show. I was going to try to upload 1 story. I was going to try to upload 3 more later tonight and then take care of the last 3 and be done with it. So I'm almost there.
So, what are you going to do with yourself after that is done?
Well, one thing I know for sure is I'm definitely taking a break from from doing all that.
I don't blame you one bit. I don't
but
blame
on,
you one bit.
but honestly
Um,
though,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say honestly though, there is one more book I'm gonna try to record. This one is just gonna be recorded by me though. I'm gonna try. There's one more book I'm actually gonna try to release, hopefully right before Halloween. So there's not as many stories in this book, but the stories are a little bit longer though. It is another Scary Stories tribute book called At the Cemetery Gates Volume 1. And it's not the same company that made Nightmare Soup, but it's one of the other companies that I've done previous books for, which was Corpse Cold, New American Folklore and Tales from Valley View Cemetery. So this is the same book that came from those books, created by Cemetery Gates Media.
Is that going to be enough time for you to get all that done?
There's a possibility. I mean, there's no guarantees, but the funny thing is, the reason why I'm having interest in wanting to record this book is one of the stories that was in the very first Scary Stories tribute book I did, which was Corpse Cold, had a story that was also in and originally in At the Cemetery Gates, and all it's just been doing is just been sitting on the files, basically just waiting to be uploaded. So I just decided, you know what, the hell with it. I'll probably, if I have enough time, I'll try to record it. I mean, this entire book, and then try to upload the stories. But I think there's only really about 12 or 13 stories in this book. So, again, not as many stories, but the stories are definitely a little bit longer.
All right. Speaking of books, I finally, I finally got something going for my 2 books.
Oh, really?
Um, just the outlines. I just got started on the outlines.
Okay.
Um, the one is going to be Paranormal Me Stories to Tell. I've already got either 11 or 12 chapters figured out for that one. And the other one is going to be my accidental memoir. And I am up to 12 on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Grandmaster. I'm Jeremy. This is Nick. We
Hi
are the
there.
host of the 13th Dimension. We are a paranormal podcast. So you're either on the 13th Dimension channel or the Things Network channel. If you're on the Things Network, it's the podcast network that I own. We have roughly about 25 shows a week. Um, and this here is one of our shows. We got several shows on hiatus right now. A bunch of people taking a break, summertime, and plus they're getting their kids ready to go to school if they haven't already. The show itself will be ending here in a few weeks. But by then, we're going to have at least 2 more come back. Clarissa's show will be coming back, and then Holly's show. She messaged me a couple days ago to let me know that her Thursday night show is coming back, and she's going to be doing a different format.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to ask because I remember I saw her message a couple, about a week or so ago that she really didn't want to do shows for a long time. It's nice that she changed her mind.
Yeah, well, it she's still taking a little bit of a break, but she is right now working on reformatting the show to do it differently.
Okay.
Um, and once she gets all that worked out, then she'll be airing back on the network. Clarissa is also revamping her shows. She's going to be doing um, histories on locations. She's already got 6 locations figured out. Now it's just a matter of doing the research and categorizing everything.
And don't forget, my show will eventually be coming back as well. You almost forgot the Nick Files.
Yep. That will be coming back in October sometime.
And I already have a Halloween special, which not only will serve as the Halloween special, but will serve as the season 2 opener. I mean, the beginning of season 2, and I'm actually looking forward to this one because again, that was uh, Jill Nick Files is it's on basically Wednesday afternoons, 4 o'clock Central Time. Don't forget my show, The Adventures of Captain Cockroach. Uh,
Um, well, he's got a couple comments before that too. Uh, okay, I know the name Nick Pope.
oh, I thought you meant when it's back on. So Joe, I'm gonna try to get it back on sometime. Right, either the first week of October or the second week. It's briefed by everyone, and all the major country military intelligences and Air Force (OSI). What's going on, Clarissa?
I bet you he would know a lot about the UFO stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, Clarissa. Oh, while she's on here, um, so I made, I don't know, Nick, if you caught it yet. Clarissa may have caught it, but I made a post a couple hours ago to talk about the last show of the 13th Dimension. And it's already been announced that I will be having all of my hair cut off. It'll be donated. Clarissa is actually going to be here helping us out.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking for ideas and suggestions as to what else we can do on that last show. Um, Already got a couple of comments on that one. One is one's about doing a Q&A. Let me let me find it here. Uh,
Grandmaster says his dad even worked at Wright Patterson, knows about secret hangars where they took the Roswell crash debris. Let's get a little bit of hair trimmed off. Don't cut it off. Don't cut it all off, bro.
Actually, Grandma. Okay, so actually, well, no, I'm having everything cut off, and the reason being is because I'm having surgery. Um, you're probably not aware of this, but I had a very, very bad accident back in December of last year that completely smashed my face, and I had to have my face rebuilt, but it was rebuilt incorrectly. So now in September on the 12th, I'm going to be doing another facial reconstruction, and they're going to be the incision is going to be starting at my ear and coming all the way up to the top. And The doctor told me I don't need to cut it all off. They would just they would just shave a little strip up so that they can make the incision. But for me, it would be better if I just go ahead and cut it all off. I was going to anyway back in May. Normally I would have, but I decided to put it off a year because I was going to be filming some documentaries um, this fall. But then when the whole accident and this new surgery is getting scheduled, I talked to the people that was doing this documentary. They moved it up. In fact, we're going to be doing the last of the filming next weekend. And then 2 weeks after that, I'll be doing the surgery. And plus, every 3 years, I cut my all my hair off anyway and donate it and grow it back out. And this year is the third year to do it anyway. But I was going to put it off because of the documentary, and then the timing just works out. So, but yeah, I'm going to be cutting all of this off, shaving my head. I'm going to be Stone Cold Steve Austin for a little bit, or Mr. Clean, as Joe refer me as. Um, and yeah,
Jill wanted to know what location will you be doing the last episode of 13th Dimension?
right here.
I figured it would be over at your house.
Yeah, yeah, we'll be doing it right here. Um, anyway, I'm looking for where I made that post. Ah, here it is. Here it is. Found it. So Vivian's suggested running a competition. She must not know I was going to donate it, but she made a suggestion, several actually. The Q&A, um, inviting guests onto the show to do one question each. Do do a Q&A at that time. That's not a bad idea. I actually kind of like that. She also said something about running a competition and the winner gets a lock of my hair. That's
Yeah.
I'm not really sure why anybody would want a lock of my hair, but okay. Um, Adrian said something about doing live readings, which that would fall more under Clarissa's forte. Um, she also said that she would like to see everyone post their well wishes for the surgery. And if somebody else wants to do that, that's fine. I wouldn't feel comfortable about going to people and asking for well wishes for my surgery.
It
That just wouldn't feel right.
wouldn't.
Um,
Really quickly, because Joe had thought for voodoo dolls with your hair. She's like, I
well,
hope. I was like, well, if
that
I
that
win.
that is an idea. We're open to everything. Um, you know, and how would we even do a competition for that the winner gets a lock of my hair? I wouldn't even know how to go about that.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Um, and then Adrian also said something about a guessing game as to when I'll be on the show. Um,
uh, Jill said she could make her Jeremy doll with your hair.
I'm I am not going to
Copyright.
comment on that one because I can see a lot of things that can get me in trouble on that one.
Yeah, probably for the best.
Yeah, it'd be like, wait a minute, this is the wrong show for that
Yeah,
stuff.
that would be bad.
Yeah. And then Adrian said we can have a guessing game as to when I'll be on a show. It says here, show next step surgery. I'm guessing she meant on a show after the surgery. So that I'm guessing that's what she meant there. Um, let's see here. See, I also posted on my personal page, same thing. Um, Nothing there. So definitely open to suggestions as to what else we can do on the show, because we are not taking 2 hours. What we could take 2 hours to cut all my hair off.
Yeah.
Um, I suppose what we could do is, every few minutes we'll just take a swipe. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'm. I have to. I mean, I definitely would have to agree, though. I'm sure we'll probably come up with, over the next couple of weeks. I'm sure we'll have a couple ideas in mind of what exactly we're going to be able to do. Because I don't know. Oh, Ernie.
Hi,
Good to see
Ernie.
you, Ernie. Good to see you, brother.
Ernie, last minute. Would you like to come on to the show?
We were supposed to have a guest on. We were supposed to have two guests on tonight, but unfortunately, not necessarily that they bailed out, but I know they've just been really busy. So, you want to come on? You're more than welcome to.
Let's talk about Waverly.
I love that. It's been a
Yeah.
while since I've spoken with Denise and Ernie, honestly. So it'd be nice to have them on.
Brad, we are not going to do this for 7 hours.
Yeah, no, we're not
Not
doing
on
that.
that show. No.
I don't know what Grandmaster's talking about, but I'm not going to share those comments though. What? Give me a few minutes to the update day. I mean, yeah, I don't mean to be
Yeah, Ernie. We don't want this
Yeah.
show to get through like some others do. So
Yep, we're good. But yeah, like I said, all the stuff Grandmaster's saying, I'm not gonna. That's too political. So
well, it's not necessarily political. I think he's talking more of the disclosures of Roswell, the aliens, the space program, and
band.
that's what he's getting at.
Okay. Yeah, I just don't want to. The reason why I didn't want to show is that I just didn't want to, start get any reactions out of like people because in this day and age, people go crazy when it comes to political stuff. So that's why I hadn't shared them.
They do, but luckily the guests that we have are pretty open minded about
Yeah,
things.
they are. They are. So yeah,
Um,
like I said though, I am.
and,
I still am.
and again, we are so lucky to have the following that we have.
Absolutely, yeah. Although I was going to say, truth be told, though, I mean, it's still disappointing. Again, I was really looking forward to these guests tonight because again, I don't think that they've really appeared on any paranormal podcasts. So it would have been great to really have Barry
Yeah,
and Gary
it
on.
would have been.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's just how it goes.
You know what I should have done? I just realized this because when I was emailing him, his phone number was on the email, and as soon as I figured that out, I'm like, oh shit. I should have just called him instead. I mean, I was so like, I was just ready to beat myself up for that.
Oh
So,
well.
but there's always that possibility he'll probably message me again. And if they couldn't show up tonight, hopefully when we do bring back the 13th dimension, sometime next year, like a ball game, maybe next year. So
Yeah, well, that's something that we'll still have to talk about at some point.
yeah, and that alone too. It all depends.
Yeah.
There
Um,
was a movie on
Moving on
skinwalkers.
Skinwalkers,
Only found a small clip.
like an actual movie.
I know there. I excuse me. I know there's that series called Skinwalker Ranch. No, we're not going to do that. Let's
No,
discuss the different type of roaches tonight. Nope, I'm
no.
good.
Grandmaster, right now I'm not looking for anybody. I'm looking for myself. Um, I am currently on medical leave, so I'm still technically employed.
What's up, Natalie?
Hi, Natalie. I'm still technically employed, but I'm just, yeah, we'll just leave it there. I could say so much, and I'm going to, but now's not the time. I need to get all my surgeries done first.
Hey, Jeremy, just out of curiosity, I know this is kind of out of the blue question, but what's
Yeah.
the weather? What's the weather like over there right now?
The weather?
Yeah.
Um,
Up, send the link. Yeah, that's okay. So Joanne, I think that's what she was looking for. Okay, that's the name she was looking for. Kind of real shows. Yeah, there was. Yeah, I think it was on the. I think it was on the History Channel. I
Ernie,
think Skinwalker
hold on a
Ranch.
second. Ernie, I'm getting Facebook open. There we go. Give me 1 second, Ernie.
Weather is nice and roachy. No, the reason why I asked what's the weather like over there right now is over here because I'm right near my window. Uh, looks like we got a storm coming this way.
All right, Ernie, you got it. Um, According to mine, you got very little where you're at. Very little.
Really?
Um, I've got nothing over here, but it says it's supposed to rain tomorrow. It's supposed to be a storm tomorrow. And I'm hoping that's not the case because I want to do some yard work tomorrow.
Yeah, and I'm actually supposed to meet up with Don tomorrow along with a couple of friends of ours. So,
Oh,
um,
yeah.
it's yeah. So, and again, as usual, it's gonna if something happens, it's gonna affect us first before it eventually gets to your area. Up and here he
There we go.
is.
Here's Ernie.
Yeah.
Hi, Ernie.
Hey,
Hello,
Ernie.
hello. How are you?
Doing okay? How you
Great.
doing? Thanks for hopping
Doing
on.
good. Doing good. Long time since we've talked.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, it really hasn't been that long, but it seems like it's been a long time because we need to talk more. But
On video, yeah, it's been quite a while.
yeah, it's been a
At
while
least
since
for
we've been
me.
on the show together.
Yeah, we did have a hi Ernie Mr. Biscuit.
Hello, Joanne. I've got a whole new reputation now as the biscuit man, I guess.
Oh, that ain't new. This was known last year at least.
Oh yeah, but it's grown legs, you know. It's really
Yeah,
good.
and I was telling Denise from one of the posts that she made recently. It's like, okay, no goat, no biscuit.
And Brad points us out, and
Don't
Jeremy is
encourage
steak
her.
biscuits.
Yeah.
Don't encourage her. I'll be like, old McDonald with a farm here in a minute. You know what I'm saying?
Let's try these infamous biscuits, it seems.
Joe, it's just biscuits in general.
Yeah, like Brad said, Jeremy's also steak biscuits.
And there's Denise.
No, Denise.
Denise with the goat. I was just telling Ernie, Denise, no goat, no biscuit.
Lord help me.
And technically, I'm not encouraging her right now because I already did that encouragement back when she made that post.
Everybody is enabling her. It's like a drug addict, you know. And people are giving her money. It's the same concept. I mean, they're enabling her.
Well, let's put it this way: she could do a lot worse than a goat.
She could. She really could. She really could.
So, but I will. There is one thing that I am going to agree with, at least from your point of view. I am not going to want to wake up in the morning, turn my head, and hear
No.
You're getting a pig.
We're not
too.
getting a pig. Denise, go to bed. See, there you go. You all got her started. We could have talked paranormal. We could have talked Waverly. But no, I come in here and it's biscuits and goats. And that's
I
what
was the one who brought it up.
I know. It's up there, Jeremy, right there.
Remember the tagline on this show, Ernie. If it's paranormal or beyond,
Yeah.
we got it covered. So we're going beyond the paranormal, and now we're invading the animal territory.
Yeah, we're straight into the freaking goat world all of a sudden.
So, okay, so because it's been quite some time since we've had you on this show, and I know here in a couple of weeks we're going to have at least you on Supernatural Talk.
Yeah,
we're hoping that Denise will be able to hop on, and maybe a couple others, but at least we're going to have you on that one, and we'll be talking Waverly. And I would love to talk some more about Waverly tonight. Get the latest and greatest of the news that you are able to share.
Okay. Well, let me back up just a little bit for anybody that might not be aware. I know that Brad and Joanne have followed Save Waverly. Not sure if Jill has or David, but or any of the other folks watching. But Waverly Hills is owned by Tina and Charlie Mattingly. It has been since 2001. They're the people responsible for making Waverly what it is and saving it for all of us to enjoy and putting it on the map in the paranormal community. They put in place a nonprofit organization called the Waverly Hills Historical Society to run the business of the building and conduct the tours and investigations. That nonprofit has recently become dominated by a core group of people that are all related to Renee Clark. Not related, as in they're not all family, but they're all friends or members of her little circle. Once they got a majority on the board, they made the move to fire Tina as executive director. Tina is the redheaded lady that you should all recognize. She's been on all the shows that come to Waverly, welcoming guests into the building. And if you ever went to Waverly, she welcomed you to the building and treated you like you were a guest in her home, because you were. Tina and Charlie lived there. Well, this Waverly Hills Historical Society voted to fire Tina and told Tina and Charlie they had to get out of their home, off of the property that they own, and weren't allowed back. They then filed a lawsuit seeking to force Charlie to sign the building over to them or sell the building to them in lieu of the damages that they claim in the lawsuit. And we have been fighting that with the Save Waverly Hills movement since, I guess, probably, what was it, about early November when you and I first talked that night, Jeremy?
I still very vividly recall that conversation and the conversation that I had with Charlie just days later after that.
Yes. Yeah.
Really
Jeremy,
quick. Since we're doing this show on Waverly, would it be okay to share it to the Save Waverly group to get the others?
Sure. Yeah. I'm not sure. Denise might have already done that. I don't know. But yeah, it's something that people don't know a whole lot about. It's a nasty situation. If you go to the Waverly Hills website or to their Facebook, their social media of any kind, you're going to hear how bad Tina and Charlie are and how good the Waverly Hills Historical Society is, that the Waverly Hills Historical Society is only concerned about the history and preservation of that beautiful building, and blah, 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 blah. I can tell you, as an insider who is working very closely with Charlie, his attorneys, Tina, and the founder of the Save Waverly Hills movement, that that's all bullshit. Charlie almost single-handedly is the person responsible for every improvement that you see to that building. the new restrooms that the Waverly Hills Historical Society brags about. Charlie built those with his own hands. The windows that have been put in over the years, Charlie did that with his own hands. He had his son up there, and every now and then they would need a larger crew, so they would bring in, a temporary crew for a while. They had another employee that was full-time that would help with groundskeeping and general maintenance. But between Charlie and Joe Mattingly, that's where 99% of those improvements and preservation came from to that building, not the Waverly Hills Historical Society like they claim. So they filed this lawsuit. We're trying to fight it. We're doing all we can to raise funds for Charlie to pay his attorneys to fight this. And right now we're at a point where we have a legitimate eviction filed on them that was supposed to be heard initially on July the 18th. Well, their attorney couldn't be there on July the 18th, so she requested an extension until August 22nd. So that would have been Monday. Well, today we learned that it's now postponed until sometime in October. All of the legal proceedings with regards to their suit that they have filed against Charlie have been delayed by them. Initially, they were supposed to have had discovery turned in by January the 6th. They requested an extension. They go back to court in front of the judge when that extension expires, and they said, well, we've got new claims now, so we need more time. They requested another extension. It's just gone on, an endless cycle of this, them asking for and being granted extensions, because the way that the legal system is set up, if you have new claims, then you have time to build your case based on those claims as well as everything else. Well, they still haven't turned in discovery for their initial claims. But they're doing everything they can to drag this out, hoping that Charlie runs out of money. There has been a major amount of turnover within the board itself just in the last year. And several employees have quit or been fired since Dale Clark was initially named the executive director. He's since been forced out here in the last couple of weeks, for those of you who do not know.
So he's been forced out now, and he did not leave?
He was asked to resign.
Wow.
There are some members of the board who seem to have a brain and realize that they cannot. I mean, the reason they're doing all these delays and stalls is because they don't have a case. They know they can't win it. The only way they can win is if they can run Charlie out of money, stretch this out long enough that he dies or runs out of money and can't fight him anymore. That's the only way they can win. So that's their tactic, is to stretch it out and stall and stall and stall. Quite frankly, my personal belief is that our attorneys have not been aggressive enough in forcing the issue and fighting these stalls and delays. Now, I'm not a legal expert by any means, but it sure seems like they are getting by with murder on the other side, basically, with all of these delays that they keep putting up and getting by with. But again, the writing is on the wall, and there's a few board members that seem to be seeing that. And I think that's why you've had the amount of turnover you've had with the board here recently. I think that there's a lot of infighting going on. There's a lot of folks up there that don't believe in this lawsuit, that don't believe in the way that things are being handled with Tina and Charlie. And there's a lot of, Denise, you're exactly right. This guy happens to be the mouthpiece of Waverly Hills right now. So if you watch any of their TikToks or you go to their social media pages and see their posts and stuff, it's that fella, that guy. is the one that
I have not paid any attention to anything on their side except for what you guys have said, because I don't even make the effort to listen to any of the shit that they have to spew.
Right.
And
trust me.
And I know a lot of people out there probably don't even understand what a discovery is. I actually do, because I'm currently waiting on a discovery myself that was requested back in March, that should have been turned in June, and currently my lawyer actually has a date set for next month to force the issue.
Yeah,
and I know it's recommended that, like us, we stay out of the legal aspects. I don't give a shit. I actually emailed my workman's comp people and told them to tell their lawyers to stop stalling.
Yeah.
So they know I'm not real happy with that.
Well, you shouldn't be. I mean, that what happened to you was due to no fault of yours. I'll tell you that.
I can relate to you on that. So I actually have an understanding of what you guys are going through, whereas most of the other people wouldn't. So I can relate to you on that level.
Yeah. I mean, a legal proceeding can't move forward and go in front of a judge or a jury until these little things like discovery and then whatever little, preliminary motion hearings are heard, things like that, before it can actually go into court to be decided.
Right.
And so that's why but like in your case, you would be happy to go in front of a judge tomorrow, wouldn't you? To get this deal settled. In your case?
Mm-hmm.
Because you've got a good case, right?
Yeah. I want to get it done and over with, just like you guys want to get it done and over with.
The WHHS filed this lawsuit. If they had a good case, don't you think they would want to get it in front of a judge and get it decided instead of stalling?
Absolutely.
Because right there is a red flag.
Exactly.
Right there is a red flag. So me, if I'm going to file a lawsuit, let's say, Nick, I'm going to sue you for making me sound bad on the audiobook, whatever. I'm going to sue you.
I'll testify on your behalf, Nick.
Yeah.
What's that?
I'll testify on your behalf.
I want this done and now. By the time I file this lawsuit, I'm going to have all of my ducks in a row so that we can get this taken care of effectively.
Right.
These guys are piddle dicking around.
Because they don't have a case.
Yeah.
I mean, they keep sending out things. They sent a questionnaire to Denise and I, because, they've added us to the lawsuit now. They sent a questionnaire to us a couple weeks ago, demanding us tell them things like how much money has been raised by Save Waverly Hills. Our answer: none of your damn business.
It's not their business.
It's not at all.
I mean, it's not your
money. How much are you paying your lawyers to sue us?
That's pretty personal for them to even ask that.
Yeah. I mean, they're trying to they're stalling, hoping that we will stumble and give them something to use. Because they don't have anything to use as it is. So they're trying to get us to bury ourselves, basically, because they can't. And we're smarter than they are, apparently.
I'm not even going to touch that one. I can say a lot on a comment like that.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Y'all are laughing way too freaking hard at that.
What's that? Right there. Right there. Right there.
A cockroach is smarter than they are. I have to agree.
Special guest.
Hey, Denise.
Hi, Denise.
Good to see you.
They're wanting us to tell them everything we've said. Even though they're suing us for defamation and slander, they want us to give them what we've said because they don't know what we've said that classifies as defamation and slander.
Well, if they were paying attention, they would know exactly what you said.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, if you're going to sue me for saying something bad about you, then you must know what I've said, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I shouldn't have to repeat it. And I'm sorry, but what we have said about them is the truth that we can document.
Right.
So that's not slander, folks. If the truth slanders you or defames you, then obviously you ain't living right.
Exactly.
That's not on me, that's on you. And Joanne, they cannot claim that that money should go to them because we have said since day one. If you read the flyer that we handed out in December at the Las Vegas Paracon, we are raising money to help Charlie Mattingly pay his attorney fees. That is what the money is being raised for. It has nothing to do with anything else. It's not for me. It's not for the building. It's not for Charlie to go get a steak. It is for his legal expenses. And that's where the money has gone. The money has gone to his attorneys. So, right.
I never thought I'd say this. Just want to go back to this. I never thought I'd say this, but I have to agree on Brad with this one about saying a cockroach is smarter than they are.
I mean,
A wedge of cheese is smarter.
I mean, the thing is, you know, there are a lot of people, including some para celebs, that I will not name, but they won't be coming back on the hill probably once this is over. But that they hear the WHHS's side of things and they buy it hook, line, and sinker. There are other people in the paranormal community, same thing. They don't go to SaveWaverlyHills.com. They don't go to our Facebook page or group, Save Waverly Hills. They don't read what we've got. We actually have documentation, and you guys have seen it.
Mm-hmm.
We actually have proof of our side of the story, whereas they don't. They've got the whole lawsuit on their website. You know, it used to be that if there was a news story, for example, let's say you're watching the news and they do a news story or you're reading the paper and you see a news story about a lawsuit, there used to be a little disclaimer on there that would say, claims made in a lawsuit give only one side of the story. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You guys have probably seen that or heard that
Yep,
over the years.
I've seen that.
Well, the WHHS has their lawsuit on their website. Like, here you go. There you go. That's what's going on. That's your side of the story. And you still have failed to prove any of it. That's not what's going on. That's the bullshit lawsuit that you guys filed. That doesn't prove anything.
The problem with a lot of people these days is that they will go to the person that is their friend, listen to their story, and then not even bother going to the other side.
Right.
And I know how that feels. I know exactly how that feels. So again, I can relate to you on that.
Trust me, I know exactly what you're saying. I know what you're talking about. I mean, personally, with me, conflicts like interpersonal conflicts, things like that, I want to get both sides of the story, for one. Two, I don't get involved in the he said, she said stuff until someone comes at me and it affects me personally. Okay? So
that's how it should be.
Right.
Yeah. But we had, there is a person who was once on probably the most popular show of all time in the paranormal that recently visited Waverly Hills and took a tour with Vince, who for those of you who don't know about Vince, Vince was never, ever anything at Waverly Hills in the past but a haunted house actor. Yet he will claim that he's been a guide there for years, that he's done everything else. Bullshit. He was a haunted house actor that got fired. That's what he was. He's never given a tour prior to coming back to work there earlier this year or late last year after me and all of Ernie's people quit Waverly and they were scraping the bottom of the barrel to get anybody they could up there to run a tour.
And I can actually vouch for what he just said, because I have been to Waverly 6-7 times and never met the guy. I have met Ernie 2 or 3 times. He took care of us the night that we were there. Denise has. Mel was with us several times. And then there was another guy. I don't remember his name. There was another guy. He would switch nights off and on with Mel. But it wasn't Vince.
Scott Gray, maybe?
Maybe. I don't remember his name. He was a real personal guy, easy to like.
I'm not sure. I mean, there's been several that have come and gone over the years.
Yeah.
You know, I've come and gone a few times over the years. You know, that's, you know.
But it was always you guys, you and Denise, that guy, and Mel that took care of us every time that I was there.
Right.
There was never events. So I can vouch for you on that one.
Right. But anyway, getting back to this person, she goes up there, she takes a tour with Vince. Vince shows her all the fresh changes. Oh,
put that down. I don't want to keep on laughing at that
one. You got a point, though.
Yeah.
But Vince goes through there and shows her the new bathrooms and, you know, all the things that they've done over the years that, you know, the WHHS has done to improve things. Because this person hadn't been to Waverly for 10 or 12 years, you know? So she had not seen all the things that Charlie's been doing in those 10 or 12 years. She comes back now and she sees all those improvements, and Vince is giving all that credit to the WHHS. There you go. She thinks that's all because of the WHHS, and they're awesome. They love the building. They're saving the building.
Yeah.
So then she starts saying, people post on her page from the Save Waverly Hills movement, they post a link to our website or our Facebook group, and we're all effing morons.
I remember that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, hope she enjoyed her last visit to Waverly. If things go right, there might not be another one. Just saying. But there's a lot of folks that don't want to hear the truth. There's others that have heard the truth, and very few that have heard the truth and have not come to our side. 99% of the people that we're able to get the word out to about what's going on wholeheartedly support Tina and Charlie, because Tina and Charlie, they know Tina and Charlie. You know, most of the folks in the paranormal community have been to Waverly.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in the United States and you're a paranormal enthusiast, paranormal investigator, Waverly's been on your bucket list, or you've been there several times or whatever. And you know who Tina and Charlie are.
Mm-hmm.
And when people hear how they're being treated by the WHHS, people are ready, willing, and able to jump in and help in any way they can.
Yeah.
And that's what's kept us in this fight. So,
Denise, just so you know, I shared this show to the Save Waverly group page. If you could approve that, please, so that others in the group might be able to hop on here.
Yeah.
Um, over time, every time that I would come out to Waverly, there was always some form of an improvement, even if it's just small. One year, I remember they were doing the geothermals out there, back there at the back of the building, and I remember this specifically because it was just so weird seeing that. And
All the
when I was
trenches
up
and
on one of the upper floors looking down at it, I kept thinking, if I didn't know any better, I'd say these people are putting in a drive-in movie theater because that was exactly what it looked like.
yeah, yeah, with all the pipes coming up out of the ground
Yeah.
everywhere. Yeah,
And the way that they were hanging off on the side, and then the next time I came in, they were gone.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
they had been able to finish what they needed to, and every time that I was there until this last time, there was an improvement.
Yep.
This last time, the bathrooms that they had on the first floor, that was right next to the entrance to the tunnel, this this last time was now inaccessible. It was out of order.
Yeah.
The time before that, they had just opened it up and everything was working fine. Now it is not.
Right.
And this was after Tina and Charlie were gone.
Yep.
You guys were still there, but
Yep.
this was after they were gone, and then they completely switched up that lobby room that just threw everything off, blocked off that one side, which I can understand from a security standpoint doing it that way, but it just really closed off that room when they did it that way.
Well, that actually was part of the haunted house setup. The reason those temporary walls were put up in the lobby. All if you go up there now, all that's gone. They've stripped out everything that was part of the haunted house setup, including the DMX systems, the electricity that was ran through that nurse's wing of the building and all down through there. And they've gotten rid of all the props. And, they had vowed that they were never going to do a haunted house again.
Jeez.
Well,
Wait till you hear this one, Nick.
yeah.
Oh,
Here's what's
man.
funny.
Yeah, I know where he's going with this one.
The haunted house is the biggest fundraiser by far at Waverly Hills. That building would not exist without the haunted house that they did annually. It'd been a pile of rubble 15 years ago. But the haunted house brings in a crap ton of money. Well, they're spending a crap ton of money. They're spending $25,000 a month just on attorneys. They've created not board positions. They've created these phony job titles for all of the board members, friends, and family, and so on. And they're paying them a crap ton of money. The executive director, who was just appointed by her wife, the HR manager, who's making about $60,000 a year, just appointed her wife to the executive director position after Dale was forced to resign. Apparently, getting that job, the requirement for it is having a wife in a position of power on the board, because Dale was appointed by his wife. Well, the new executive director was appointed by her wife, and she's making $117,000 a year. So they aren't getting as many customers through the door as what we got back in the day, because a lot of people are not going to Waverly Hills because they don't like the bullshit that the WHHS is putting on. So they're like, oh my gosh, we got to make money somehow. I know, let's do a haunted house. These people that tore out the haunted house, destroyed it all, got rid of all the props and all the everything going on for the haunted house, are now scrambling to throw a haunted house together. And
so now they got to go through the extra expense and extra labor to put this thing in.
Yeah. Cockroaches. It's just ridiculous. And for those there's a lot of people. I mean, I go to haunted locations all over the country, and I know a lot of location owners are just very screwed up. We'll never do a haunted house here, and we feel like it's disrespectful. You name it. And I understand that sentiment. Now, what folks don't realize about Waverly Hills opened they welcomed their first patients on October 20th of 1926. The very first event they held for patients at Waverly Hills was a 2-day Halloween party and masquerade ball.
Really? I didn't know that.
Tradition carried on throughout all the years that Waverly was in existence.
Wow.
And so our annual haunted house, we kind of saw it as carrying on that tradition, for one. And for two, without the money that the haunted house brought in, the tours and investigations bring in a lot of money, but not enough to keep that building sustained. It's a 187,000 square foot building with a lot of expenses. And without that haunted house, that building would have been gone a long time ago. So it's very important to Waverly. And they were never going to do one again until they realized, oh, we can't afford not to do one. And we stand to make a lot of money if we do one. So one of the things they've done is a couple of the board members have formed a company.
I was going to ask you about that because at the time when you first brought that up, at the time it was just a rumor. So I was going to ask you if you had been able to substantiate that rumor or not.
It is still just a rumor, okay? But we have it from a very good source, a source that has given us several rumors that have all panned out, okay? Now, I personally can't tell you for sure that it's true, but I can tell you that I know people that happen to be doing construction up there right now, and they've told me who their boss is. And their boss is a board member.
Oh, jeez.
All roads lead to Rome, folks.
I will say this. Apparently, and according to rumors, a couple of board members have formed a company that has contracted with the WHHS to put on a haunted house, thereby enriching themselves through the 501c3 of which they are members of the board, which sounds like maybe that's a little bit unethical and possibly even illegal. But
because they're double dipping, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we shall see how that goes.
I mean, that just seems to like raise a lot of eyebrows, even just hearing something like that.
Well, I mean, there's so much of what they've done that should raise a lot of eyebrows, but a lot of people just aren't paying attention. Waverly Hills is a big draw. It sells itself. It's world famous. You don't, we never had to advertise or anything like that at Waverly. You guys go to Paracons and stuff. Did you ever see a Waverly Hills booth at Paracons?
Not that I've seen.
We might have done a few of them over the years, but we didn't have to. Waverly Hills stays at the top of everybody's bucket list because it's been on every TV show that's ever been involved with the paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
YouTubers are there just about every night, and it sells itself. It's got the popularity that a bunch of cockroaches could be running it, and it would still be successful.
Waverly Hills is basically like the Super Bowl, the WrestleMania.
Yep.
You don't need to advertise or to set something up to sell tickets. Just the name alone is going to sell the tickets.
Right.
Absolutely.
Waverly is at that level.
Yeah, it's one of those
places. Very few locations that are on that level.
Exactly. It's not the only place.
Brad said it is the mecca of the paranormal world.
Yes, it is
100% right.
Yeah, he's absolutely right.
Yes.
There are people that might have other locations, and there's a lot of great locations out there. I mean, a lot of great locations out there. You guys have been to a lot. I've been to a lot. There's a lot on my bucket list that I'd like to go to, but I don't know. Waverly is just one of those places that, you get out of the car on the grounds and it speaks to you. It draws you in and it draws you back. And
Well, the thing about Waverly that sets it apart from every other location, at least for me, is that just looking at the building in person is intimidating.
Yeah.
yeah,
Most other locations don't do that. Just
right.
looking at Waverly Hills from the outside and looking at how massive it is, it's intimidating.
Well,
Yeah.
not to mention also being on top of a hill and with woods surrounding it. I mean,
Yeah.
that's basically as close as you could ever get to your classic like abandoned haunted building in the middle of the woods.
Yeah, exactly. It's, most locations you go to and you pull up to them and you're like, oh man, it looked bigger on TV. You know what I'm saying? Like some of these haunted mansions and stuff.
Yeah,
it looks bigger on TV. You pull up to Waverly and it's like, damn.
Yeah.
It's way
What
bigger.
I have always told people is no matter what you think how big it is, it's bigger than that.
Yeah.
I tell people that all the time.
Yep.
Think about how big you think it is. It's bigger than that.
It's bigger.
It's like what you see on all these shows it's been on. You think it's big on screen. Just wait till you're actually there.
Yeah.
When you're standing in that back parking lot with it just spread out all around you, it just seems to go on and on and on. And then, 4 floors up and then the 5th floor there in the middle. It's impressive.
It is.
Brad,
and
here's an example right here, like what Brad
it's
just
one
said.
of those few places that not only are you almost guaranteed to have an experience of some kind, but you are definitely guaranteed to get a good workout at it too.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah. Just stairs alone, I tell people stretch your thighs. Stretch your thighs before you walk into that building.
If you ever feel like you need to drop 10 pounds over the course of a couple of months, take a job as a guide at Waverly Hills.
Great workout with a broken foot.
Yeah. Brad was up there with a broken foot last year, and the spirits actually called him out on it.
He's told us about that.
Yep. But we've had a lot of support though for what we've been trying to do to fight all this stuff. The Things Network has been right there. Like I say, Jeremy is one of the first phone calls that I made when we decided to start putting something together to help Charlie with all of this. And Jeremy was more than willing to help in any way he could. I will say it, the Pun Network has been very helpful as well. There's been all across the paranormal community. Brad with Cracked Skull, he's donated equipment and things like that for our raffles and other things. I mean, it's been one of those things where people have, put down their personal differences between one another or whatever and banded behind a common cause. And I feel like it's been good for all of us.
That's how it should be.
Yeah.
There are a few people out there that I'm just not going to get along with.
Right.
But you know what? When it comes to Waverly, I'm willing to put that aside and do this. After that's done, then we can go back and do all the squabbles all you want. Right now, we need to
about our own personal stuff later, but we're all in this together. I always tell people that, the paranormal community has always been real good about banding behind someone that's in need, that's part of the community. When you had your accident at work, Jeremy, I mean, you had people from across the spectrum, even some of the people that you've had bad blood with in the past, that were reaching out. There's been, that's how it's been in the paranormal community for a lot of us.
Right.
When one of us is in need, people get behind that need and do what they can to help. Well, Tina and Charlie are part of that paranormal community, part of that family. They need our help. Waverly Hills, that building itself is part of our paranormal family. That building needs our help. I can't tell you how many people have shared a post on Save Waverly on our Facebook page. You guys have probably read some of those posts.
Yep.
I didn't know anything about this, and I went on a private overnight last weekend, and I just got to say that the building just has a different feel. The building has a sad and lonely feeling to it. Hello, Christy.
Hello.
Hi there.
Yeah,
And I think what it is, and I remember somebody actually bringing that up, is that the spirits that are there are probably tired of the bullshit that those people are doing, so they're leaving.
Right.
Well, the spirits that are there, they grew to know Tina and Charlie.
Yeah.
You know, Tina and Charlie lived there. And Tina and Charlie were like family to them.
Right.
And they know what's happened to Tina and Charlie. So they're sad, they're angry. They're probably not going to be performing for the crowds, so to speak.
I know I wouldn't be.
Yeah.
And
I'd get out immediately.
Yeah.
I mean,
What's up, Eric?
you know, that gets into a whole deeper discussion about, you know, our beliefs on what spirits, you know, can and cannot do. You know, are spirits trapped here? Are they trapped there? Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have free roam to go anywhere they want, anytime they want. I think they can even be in multiple places at one time. My own personal belief. But
I think so too, and I'm
wouldn't
wanting to
be
do some experimenting on that one as well.
what's that?
I think so too, that they can be at two places at one time, and I have been wanting to do some experimenting on that basis.
Yeah. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
Brad is exactly right.
and I'm going to say this. This will probably piss the people off at Waverly, but I don't care. But what would really be nice is that if the spirits at Waverly just basically go on strike, and they go for let's say a month straight, they get teams every single night there, and not one of them get any paranormal activity at all. They make most of it, and people will be like, well, there's nothing happening there. I don't want to go there.
There's been a few reports. Okay. I will tell you that the owner of Brushy Mountain Penitentiary, or the lady who is the contact to book a tour or investigation there, I talked to her a couple weeks ago, and she said that she had recently had some guests there at the building, at the prison, that had been to Waverly 2 nights prior. And they were having a very slow night. Well, they mentioned it to their guide. About an hour later, they caught their guide trying to create activity by knocking on doors or slamming doors and making noises in the hallway, down the hall from them.
Really?
So,
interesting.
I'll tell you something else. I recently watched a couple of YouTubers, young guys that are fairly popular. I'm not going to say their names, but they were in the building back over the winter, I think it was, and they had the most active night at Waverly Hills you'll ever imagine. I mean, their REM pods were going off on command, just bang, bang, bang. It was incredible. Just all night long. You guys know as well as I do. It don't work like that.
Nope.
No, absolutely not.
I don't care how haunted the place is. It don't work like that. You might get 1 or 2 good interactions. Maybe sometimes on a really active night, you might get 3 or 4 good, solid, responses that are direct responses to what you're asking for. But you don't get just bang, bang. Can you light it up now? Beep, 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 beep. Whoa. If this is William, can you light it up? Beep, 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 beep. Oh, it don't work like that. But if you're sitting there with a 2-way radio and you're asking questions and you're keying the mic every time you ask a question, guess what? Beep, 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 beep. Just saying.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't seem to realize that either.
You
No.
know.
That's why, as paranormal investigators, we have to test stuff out.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Otherwise, we are doing a disservice not only to the clients, but to ourselves.
Yep.
Exactly. So many people they watch the shows, they get into the paranormal, and they see all the gadgets and all that stuff. And, it's so cool when the stuff lights up, especially if it's when someone's asking someone to do something or whatever. They get a noise, they get something to light up or whatever. It's great. So they get addicted to that. And that's all they think about. Ooh, gadgets and blinking lights and beeping noises. Woohoo!
Now,
Rad.
with that said, I want to bring this up. With that said, I know Nick was a part of this. Ernie, I can't remember if you and Denise were a part of this, but I did an experiment in the tunnel.
In the body chute.
Yep.
Yeah. The last time that we were there, and I wanted to test something out with my whistle and all of the sensors that we could get our hands on.
Right.
We spread them throughout the tunnel, starting at the very bottom, going all the way to the very top, where we took a structure that was nearby and put it across the floor and laid out 4 REM pods there. And I had people in groups of 2, spaced out in the tunnel, one person on the actual stairs and one person on the ramp. And I stood in the middle of the tunnel and I blew that whistle 3 or 4 times, and we were getting some activity in various REM pods.
Yep. I remember that.
So you guys were there?
I wasn't in the tunnel at the time. I think that, oh gosh, I forget who it was. Somebody had been affected elsewhere in the building, and we were up there trying to, bring them back to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And we missed that experiment, but you told me all about it as soon as you had gotten done with it.
Yeah, every time I do something, I'm always expecting nothing's going to happen. Well, I am happy to say I was let down by that. We had activity on that one, and to me, that was by far one of the best I've had.
The dog whistle, that whole theory of yours about the dog whistle and everything, that has panned out, and I've heard of other people using it now too.
I have too. It's spread out far wider than I ever expected, and that was from the first night. From the last time we were there, the second night that we were there with shadow seekers, and it was at the end of the night. Corey, myself, and Gage were walking down the outside corridor on the second floor of the first wing, and Corey was just taking pictures at random, just not looking for any specific things, just click, 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 click.
Right.
And hi, Carrie. And
what's up, Carrie?
He pulled up a picture, and I'll be damned, there was something behind the pillar as you go into that middle wing. So I took off after it to find out what's there. There's a chair there, and it was behind that chair. And as I got there, I saw what looked like the size of a human dart across one of the rooms right up ahead of me. So I went straight across the room that was right beside me to try to head it off into the hallway, and there was nobody there.
Yeah.
So I was really, really happy. And those were 2 of 3, maybe 4 things that had happened throughout the entire 2 nights.
Yeah.
That
you
I
remember the picture that Corey caught down there on the 4th floor of the doctor with the stethoscope slung over his shoulder? I mean, that's as good a picture of a full-bodied apparition as you'll ever see.
I was with him with that.
Yeah. That was a great photo he caught.
That happened, I believe, right after me chasing whatever was there.
Yeah.
Because we were going around rounding up the equipment because it was right at the end of our session there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
But
you got to tell this one, Ernie.
okay.
I'm one of the few that's able to get the building not for 8 hours, but for 12 hours. And I got it for both nights, and you got your ass chewed out for that.
Yeah. 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 I was told, well, okay, first off, I was never informed that you guys had a 12-hour night. Okay. I was running the overnights. I was the person that had to be there to host the overnights, but no one informed me that you guys had 12 hours. Okay. Until I saw it on your post that you were going to be there for 12 hours. And I was like, whoa. So I called my boss, the now former executive director, Dale Clark. And I said, do you know that things is going to be here for 12 hours tomorrow night and the next night? And he said, well, tell them they're not. That's not going to happen. I said, they're advertising it. They've got like 25, 30 people coming. It's going to happen. And he said, well, it won't happen again. I promise you that. And he jumped my ass like I had done it in the first place. And I said, well, first off, I happen to know that they've done this in the past. I'm not complaining that they're getting 12 hours. I'm just saying that when you see my time card and I have clocked in at 5 p.m. instead of 7 p.m. or whatever, and clocked out at 6:30 a.m. instead of 4:30 a.m., whatever, I was just letting you know that it's going to be 12-hour nights. And
yeah, it was 12 hours because I got the okay from Tina herself.
yeah, before they got kicked off the property.
Yes.
And actually, I think it was David Price maybe that you had dealt with directly at that time. I'm not sure.
I remember emailing somebody just to double check, and he emailed me back saying always something like always good to go, or
yeah. But they tried to jump my ass and tell me not to let you guys stay 12 hours and everything else. And I'm like, well, first off, Jeremy's a friend. A lot of the people coming are friends of mine. If they want to stay 12 hours, I'll stay 12 hours with them, and you don't have to pay me. I don't care. But I'm not telling them after they have traveled down here and have all these people doing this, I'm not telling them they can't do it. But he wanted me to.
Yeah, definitely.
He pitched a fit about it,
Yeah. The thing is, with Waverly Hills, 8 hours is not enough.
It really
Yeah,
isn't.
8 hours is a long time, but this is a big ass building.
Yeah, and 8 hours, even still, that goes by pretty fast, more than you think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because what a lot of people don't seem to realize, okay, yeah, you see the 3 wings of 4 floors, but what you're not seeing from the iconic shot is the 4th wing, where we have our setup and everything, where the morgue. So you got that 4th wing of 2 floors.
Yep.
And then you have that tunnel.
Right.
Yeah.
So technically speaking, we're looking at 5 wings of almost 200 feet each. Tunnels.
Yeah, well, I mean, the body chute itself is 560 feet long.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I say, it's 187,000 square foot building. There's a lot to it.
Yeah.
And it takes a while. And, I always recommend, I know a lot of folks that have been to locations, if they've been there multiple times, they don't care to take the tours. They don't want to walk through, whatever. And I get that. I understand if you want to just get in there and jump straight into investigating, before the sun goes down, you want to see what you can get and all this. I understand all that, but things change. information changes. I've walked in on people that, are, talking about something that's been debunked years ago. But it was something that, it was a story that might have been told the last time they were there when they did take a tour. So they're still trying to investigate it. And it's like, no, that's not, if you would have taken the walkthrough, you would have known this.
Right.
But anyway, in a walkthrough of that building, if you give somebody a decent walkthrough of a 187,000 square foot building, it's going to take you an hour and a half to 2 hours just to do that. It's going to. And, I happen to be a bit of a, I tell stories. I like to, make it entertaining rather than just read from a script or just reading off, okay, this room was used for electroshock therapy. Let's go down. I like to talk about the experiences that have been had in each room or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Or, give a patient's name that might have been in this room, things like that. And, so it takes an hour and a half to 2 hours to get through there and do all that stuff. So then you're down to, on a basic investigation, you're down to 6 hours. Well, it takes about an hour to get your stuff set up, about an hour to get your stuff torn down. So now you're down to 4 hours to investigate.
Yep.
So a 12-hour investigation makes a lot more sense because then you got like 8 hours to investigate and 2 hours for the tour, an hour for setup, an hour for teardown. And that gives you full 8 hours to investigate. It makes a lot more sense. But the geniuses in charge up there didn't like the idea of us allowing people to do that, even though you were paying the extra money.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. We were paying for that extra time on both nights. So you're welcome. Stop bitching about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Guys,
if I remember right, I think I handed you over the course of the 2 nights more than $5,000.
I know for a fact the second night or the first night you handed me $2,700, and I think the second night was right about $2,500, if I remember right.
Yeah, so more than $5,000. So
yeah. Plus, you guys bought a crap ton of souvenirs in the gift shop. Y'all kept us busy selling shirts and hoodies and you name it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a really good thing for Waverly that you guys did that, and yet, somebody that it didn't affect at all, didn't affect him whatsoever, because he didn't have to be there. I was the one going to be there. It was me, Denise, Beth. We were the ones that were there, and it didn't affect Dale at all. But he was the one bitching about it. I don't get it. And he was making more money for the building. Actually, not for the building, because if you remember, they weren't doing jack squat to the building until we started pointing out that they weren't doing jack squat to the building.
Right. And you guys were just having a ball with us.
Oh, yeah.
Both nights.
Yeah.
I remember one of them nights, I sat down easily for an hour talking to you, Denise, and Beth.
Yeah.
And, I could have spent that time out there investigating, but part of the investigation is getting those stories.
Exactly. And, that's what I might sound corny. I might be an outlier as far as this goes. But when people would come to investigate, I wanted to be personable with them. Not just unlock the door and say, there you go. I wanted them to understand the passion that I have for the place and maybe get their own passion. Hello, Daniel. Good to see you. As you were, sir. He's part of the Army. But that was something that, I took a lot of pride in, is the friendships and the bonds that were formed with the people that would come up there to investigate. Because, that's how you get people wanting to come back.
It is.
And you instill that same passion in them for the building that you have, or you give them a piece of it, they want to, they want to feed off of that. They want more. And, hell, that was the first time I'd met you, Nick.
Yeah.
And since that night, I mean, we can't see each other on a podcast or anywhere without, hey, hi, Nick. I mean, Jeremy, I met Jeremy at Waverly a couple of times prior to that, but I mean, same thing. I mean, you form friendships and bonds with the people that come up there if you're personable with them.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
It's good for all involved, I think. And that's something that the folks that are there now, I don't think they're doing it quite on the same level. I don't know. I haven't been. Of course, I'm barred from the place. But from what I've heard from people
after what Bill did to you, as far as us being there, I seriously doubt that he would be any better with other people.
Sorry, guys.
He's not there anymore.
Right.
And also the thing is, with you guys being personable about the building and working with us, now you're forming a relationship between the building and the team, and it gets to the point where, okay, you're taking care of each other now.
Exactly.
And Tina, she has taken care of me multiple times. Because I would bring in so many people.
Yep.
To the building, I would always have at least 3 new people every time I was there. Always.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't know how to answer.
God just does not like his ex-wife. I can't imagine why.
Well, I don't know how to answer his question since he's asking me.
And I know that every time I've been there, I would always be talking with Tina for about an hour, just about every night that I was there.
Exactly. Like I say, I mean, she would treat you like you were a guest in her home.
Yeah.
Because you were.
Yeah, that is her home.
That was her home.
Yeah.
She lived there. You were a guest in her home, and you were treated as such. And a lot of people just love that. And that's what they miss now about going to Waverly. You don't have that feeling when you walk in there.
Right.
And
what was really special is that if you brought in a certain number of people, they treated you with pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. If we had over 15 people, we'd always buy pizza.
Yeah.
Tina would always buy pizza for them. And
this last time that didn't happen because Charlie and Tina weren't there.
Exactly.
There.
Well, that money that would have gone for pizza went in someone's pocket, I assume. I don't know.
Yeah. So it's just like when you're thinking professional wrestling, you always think Vince McMahon, Hulk Hogan.
Right.
With Waverly Hills, you think of Tina. You think of Charlie. Now, Ernie and Denise are on that same level. You don't think about Waverly without those 4 people.
Yep.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, Tina's the face of Waverly. Charlie's the man for saving Waverly. We're just a couple of folks that have a passion for the place and are going to do everything we can to make sure that Tina and Charlie get back in that place.
Just like Daniel said,
Brad.
You and Denise are basically leading the charge. You are the generals in this battle.
I got a great army behind me. A general's nothing without his army.
Exactly.
And not to mention, just like an army, you also, in addition to like a real army, you also have captains, lieutenants, sergeants, and of course the soldiers, the backbone.
Yeah, just like when you have a great general, when you have a great leader, well, guess what? They're not so great if you don't have a great team backing you up.
Exactly.
And I will be right there on the front lines with any of them anytime. And it's a fight that Denise and I have told Tina and Charlie several times over dinner or just, when we're at an event together or whatever. We're in this with them until the end. and it's not been easy on us. It's been, we've now been sued. It's been exhausting. Tina understands all that. She has tried to stay out of the front of all of this stuff for quite a while because she's had some health issues, but she's feeling stronger, and she's got that fire back. I can tell everyone that. But she thanks us every chance she gets for what we've been doing. And, we tell her and Charlie both that we're doing it because it's the right thing to do. I would not feel right about myself as a person if I walked away from this fight, because Tina and Charlie need help with this battle.
And they need as much help as you can, and that's why we do what we can on our end to help you guys out.
And that's like obviously a classic example. Of course, I tagged you guys, you and Denise in this area. When I went to that Chicago Paracon earlier this year, I was going around literally trying to talk to as many investigators as I could, even though majority of them lived in the Chicago area, at least give them that knowledge about it. And that was, I felt like I was not only there just to be at a Paracon, it was like I was just had that feeling like I was on a mission almost, like to really get the word out to as many as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, Carl.
Right.
What's up, Carl?
Well, I can't thank you enough. I can't thank everybody that has been a part of this and has supported us along the way. I can't thank them enough, because, to see the change in Tina and Charlie from back when this all started with the Save Waverly Hills movement, even, and they went months without us being on their side. And then when I finally sat down and talked with Charlie about all this, and we decided to start Save Waverly Hills, that was a broken man. He was, he didn't see, a good end in sight. Tina was in really poor health and just didn't want to come out of the house at the time. And the support that everyone has shown them, and the fight that we have put up as an army, where we're winning in this what seemed like unwinnable battle, has just changed their whole outlook on everything. Mm-hmm. Charlie's walking a lot taller these days. Tina is too. And they're smiling. They're laughing again. And it's
one thing to put into perspective on this, little 5-foot David defeated 10-foot Goliath with a rock.
Yep.
If he let the size of Goliath intimidate him and not even pick up that little rock, he never would have won that battle.
Exactly. But anyway, folks, I need to get going, because we've got to go to Somerset in the morning. There's a paranormal museum opening up in Somerset, and we are going down there for that grand opening with
wow, cool.
The Todd and Leanne Eskew. So I need to get some sleep and get up and drive to Somerset. Yeah, Denise is she's been playing mom to Charlie. As if he needs someone to play mom to him.
Don't go near any farms, Ernie.
No, we're not picking up a goat in the morning, Brad. Brad, you need to shut up.
Nick's been telling him that for weeks. It hasn't worked yet.
He's another.
We are going to be meeting up with Brad on Monday night at Mansfield, so that's pretty exciting.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's.
Okay, well, with that, folks, we might as well just go ahead and end the show, because I know that as soon as Ernie leaves here, our viewership is going to drop dramatically.
We got like the largest amount right now. There's 19 viewers
We
watching
do.
us.
We have Ernie Pack in the house.
I'm
Yeah.
a great
Yeah.
draw, Jeremy.
Yeah, it's probably best because actually, I'm even right now. I don't know if you guys could hear it, but I'm hearing thunder right now, so it looks like we got a storm coming this way.
Well, once you run out on the porch and start videoing, Nick, you might.
I may have to. I might have to. And
That's how I
Brad,
roll.
we're not doing this. 6 hours left.
Yeah. No. Brad, we're not even doing 6 more minutes. No. No, seriously though, we'll just go ahead and end the show because this made the show. We was worried about, okay, how are we going to do this? And then Ernie, as soon as she started commenting, hey, Ernie, come on.
Yeah, I was so disappointed we didn't have the original.
Yeah,
guest
grab
on,
the
but
opportunity when you see it.
Yeah, again, it was.
I'm always happy to talk about the Save Waverly movement any chance I get, because I mean, anything we can do to get the word out, we're going to do it. And if I see you guys on, I always try to chime in and at least say hi, even if I just say hi and then go over to the next podcast and say hi to them and go on to the next.
Yeah, there's like 20
pop in and
every
say
night,
hi.
it seems like.
Yeah.
What's that?
There's like 20 podcasts every night, it seems like.
Yeah.
It's
And
always hard to follow through.
when you got a lot of friends in the field, you're like, I'm trying to be respectful and supportive of everybody, so I'm trying to, trying to say hey. But
Denise.
Yeah, Denise does. A lot of folks don't realize Denise has high functioning but major social anxiety, and I have to drag her onto podcasts most times, and have to drag her out of the house a lot of times. But this is another thing where she believes in this cause, and she had she's been more, I guess, available for things like that because it's something she believes in, and she's trying to overcome some of those demons with that anxiety and stuff. And a lot of people don't realize that about Denise because she's very feisty and
oh yeah,
personality.
Every time I see a post, all I have to do is see her name. I know she's posting about you without even looking at what she just. I gotta tell you this, just from my standpoint, I love seeing how you two just rag on each other because that shows those two are truly in love with each other.
Yeah,
and just seeing that, it's wonderful. It really is. And Denise, I know with all of that social anxiety and everything, but I think that with Save Waverly and what you're doing, that may actually help with the anxiety.
Don't even try it, Jeremy.
I'm trying to give her some encouragement.
I appreciate it, but we've had podcasts now for a few years. We had like the most popular podcast on Paranormal Warehouse for a while. We were getting like 15,000 views and stuff, and every week I would have to drag her in here and sit her down. She'd be the one making the promos and helping us, helping me line up guests. And, we had some great guests. That's how we had such a popular show and all of that stuff. And then when it came time to actually get on camera, it's like, I ain't doing it.
It's all fun and games until, oh shit, now I have to do this.
Anyway, guys, I appreciate you giving me the chance to come on. It's always good talking to you. I miss seeing you. We need to run into each other again sometime soon.
Oh, definitely.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ernie, for being on here.
Thank you, Ernie. Thank you.
And for those out there in the audience, thank you so much for joining in and playing along with us tonight. We need to keep putting this message out. So that's why I grabbed Ernie for this show as soon as I saw him. Next week,
Fred, shut up.
Next week, I will not be here. It'll be Nick and Clarissa handling the show, and they will be interviewing Rick McCallum from Hollywood Ghost Hunters. He is or was a Hollywood stuntman. I don't know if he's still doing it or if he's retired. So he
He's
is a
got
good
some
friend of
bad
mine.
knees nowadays. I doubt he's doing a whole lot.
He
of good
does.
stuff.
He does
Yeah.
have some bad
was-
knees. I was able to investigate with him a few weeks ago.
Oh.
Wonderful person to
I was so
hang out.
jealous that he got to investigate. I couldn't. I really wanted to go though.
I told you. I told you guys about it.
I know you did, but it was just a
Yeah.
matter of trying to get out there.
Right. So that'd be the show for next week, and then in about 2 weeks, I think, on Supernatural Talk, we'll have Ernie on again.
Awesome.
On September the 8th.
That'll be a good
Good to
show.
me.
3 weeks.
Um,
So, any final words before we end the show, Ernie?
Well, I just wanted to thank everyone that's been so supportive of the Save Waverly Hills movement, and just ask that you keep doing what you've been doing. We still need the donations. We still need to sell merchandise. We still need to keep raising funds for Tina and Charlie. We're going to be announcing, we've got a car show coming up Labor Day weekend, September 4th. There's an ad for that on the page that you can find. October 15th, we're going to be doing something in the parking lot at Waverly. We're going to be doing a bonfire with ghost stories from Tina, Charlie, myself, Denise. I think we're going to be able to get Todd and Leanne up there, maybe Beth, and a whole bunch of the other folks, the old time. Try to bring in some of the Waverly Hills legends as far as guides and volunteers and helpers up there to tell their own personal ghost stories up there. And I think that that'd be a good time for people to hear some of our own experiences, because that's one thing that people always would ask me when they come up the hill for the first time. Tell me what you've seen. You know, it's like, well, where do I begin? You know, you haven't got time to hear that because there's a lot.
That would be
I
great.
think it's going to be a
wish
big
I
night.
could come down for that, but at that time I won't be able to. But I wish I could come down for that one.
If I was able to have the time for it, I definitely would be able to go down too. But again,
Yeah.
my vacation time, as well as my means of transportation, is relatively limited.
Well,
Yeah.
I hate both of you then. So I'm
Really mutual, Arnie.
well,
Well, again, Ernie, thank you so much for being on the show, and everybody else, thank you for playing along. Until next week, if it's paranormal or beyond,
We got it covered.
that's right. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.